The 64th minute, July 1st, 2026, Levi's Stadium, California. An American striker plants his studs on the back of a Bosnian defender's leg. The referee doesn't even call a foul. 5 days later, the President of the United States, the President of FIFA, the entire Belgian Football Association, and all of European football are at war over one red card. This is the story of the most controversial disciplinary decision in modern World Cup history, and how it ended in the most brutal irony imaginable. Let's go through exactly what happened, step by step, because you genuinely will not believe some of this. Start with the match. USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. World Cup round of 32. July 1st. Folarin Balogun, Monaco striker, 25 years old, the USA's leading scorer at this tournament, opens the scoring. Then, in the 64th minute, he catches Bosnian defender Tarik Muharemovic with his studs on the back of the leg. The referee, Rafael Klaus of Brazil, doesn't call anything in real time. Play continues. Then, VAR intervenes. Klaus is sent to the monitor. And here's the first genuinely controversial detail almost nobody talks about. He watches the replay in slow motion. FIFA's own VAR guidance says replays used to judge the intensity of an offense should be shown at normal speed, because slow motion makes everything look worse. Every contact looks deliberate. Every stamp looks violent. Klaus watches it slowed down and pulls out a straight red card. Balogun is off. The USA win the match anyway in advance, but under FIFA's own rules, Article 66.4 of the disciplinary code, a red card means an automatic one-match ban. The 2026 competition regulations say exactly the same thing, word for word. Automatic suspension. Next match. That next match is the round of 16 against Belgium, the biggest knockout game for American soccer in over a decade, and their best striker is banned for it, or so everybody thought, because midweek, something happened that has never happened at a World Cup before. The President of the United States picked up the phone and called the President of FIFA. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation. Donald Trump confirmed it himself on camera to reporters. He said he asked for a review because he didn't think it was a foul. He admitted he didn't even know what a red card was. His words on the record. He described it as two great athletes crashing into each other and getting tangled up. He even publicly called the referee, quote, a little bit suspect, and the call was just the beginning. According to reporting from CBS and Yahoo Sports, the machinery of the U.S. government moved behind it. Andrew Giuliani, executive director of the White House World Cup Task Force, spoke directly with Infantino. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was in communication with FIFA. Lawyers were recruited. A case was assembled. A U.S. official told reporters the government provided quote-unquote additional evidence to FIFA. The most powerful government on earth was now formally lobbying football's governing body over a red card. Sunday, July 5th, 10:31 in the morning, Eastern Time. A message lands in the U.S. Soccer Federation's FIFA portal. The implementation of Balogun's match suspension is suspended for a probationary period of 1 year. He can play against Belgium. The American players found out on the team bus. A 10-minute ride from their hotel to training in Seattle. Social media posts started popping up. That's how they learned. FIFA cited Article 27 of its disciplinary code, a provision that allows its judicial bodies to fully or partially suspend a disciplinary measure and place the player on probation. If Balogun commits a similar offense within a year, the ban comes back, plus whatever new punishment follows. FIFA also fined the U.S. Soccer Federation $40,000. So technically, on paper, the sanction wasn't erased. It was suspended. Hours later, the president posted on Truth Social, thanking FIFA for reversing what he called a great injustice. And then football exploded. Belgium's Football Association said it was, quote, astonished. They pointed at FIFA's own rulebook, Article 66.4, automatic ban, the 2026 competition regulations, automatic ban. In their view, FIFA had directly contradicted its own written rules. Belgium's coach, Rudy Garcia, stood in front of the press and said he didn't realize July 5th that this World Cup was actually April 1st. April Fools. Then UEFA, the governing body of all of European football, released a statement that stunned everyone with how aggressive it was. They said FIFA had, quote, crossed a red line. They called the decision unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable. And then the sentence that will be quoted for years. When the certainty of rules is no longer guaranteed by its guardians, the integrity of the game is at stake. This is not a pundit talking. This is European football's governing body publicly accusing FIFA of compromising the sport itself. The former players piled in next. Wayne Rooney called it an absolute disgrace and said Infantino should be ashamed. Gary Neville said the decision, quote, absolutely stinks. Belgium formally challenged it. And here's where it gets even darker for them. FIFA ruled Belgium's challenge inadmissible. Not wrong. Inadmissible. On the grounds that the Belgian FA was, quote, not a party to the proceedings. The team directly facing Balogun in the next match had no legal standing to object to him playing in it. Read that again. Now, to be completely fair, let's hear the other side, because there genuinely is one, and an honest video has to show it. First, many people, including neutrals, thought the red card itself was harsh. Christian Pulisic said if you look at the foul, there was zero intent at all, and that far worse challenges in this tournament went unpunished. Balogun himself said on Friday that a yellow card would have been fair, and remember the slow motion VAR detail. That's a legitimate procedural question about how the red was given given in the first place. Second, FIFA insists this wasn't unprecedented. In November, FIFA deferred the final 2 games of Cristiano Ronaldo's 3-match bans for a red card against Ireland, allowing him to start the World Cup. In April, Nicolas Otamendi of Argentina and Moises Caicedo of Ecuador both had 1-game bans deferred, keeping them available for World Cup openers. Article 27 exists. It has been used before. That part is simply true. Infantino confirmed the call happened and defended it. He said he regularly discusses World Cup matters with heads of state, government officials, and business executives from around the world. He said he explained to the president that there was an ongoing legal process, and that FIFA's judicial bodies are independent and decided the case themselves. That's FIFA's position. The committee decided, not the phone call. So the honest question at the center of this scandal is not whether Article 27 exists. It's whether anyone believes the timing is a coincidence. A president calls on Wednesday. Government officials assemble evidence and lawyers. And on Sunday, days before the biggest match, the ban is suspended. FIFA says independent process. Half the football world says look at the sequence of events. You can decide for yourself. But here's what makes this even more uncomfortable. The relationship between these two presidents was already unusually close. In December, at the World Cup draw, FIFA awarded Trump the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. Yes, that is a real thing that happened. And Trump is expected to play a role in the trophy ceremony at the World Cup final on July 19th. So when the phone rang in Infantino's office, this wasn't a cold call between strangers. It was a call between two men with a public, well-documented, mutually beneficial relationship. And that context is exactly why so much of the football world refused to believe the word independent. Has anything like this ever happened before? Once, 1962, Chile. Brazil's Garrincha, one of the greatest players who ever lived, was sent off in the World Cup semi-final. He should have been banned for the final. After political pressure, he was allowed to play. Brazil won that final, their second consecutive World Cup. No team has won back-to-back World Cups since. For 64 years, that stood as the one great asterisk of World Cup history. The one time politics reached down and touched a suspension. Until July 2026, and now, the ending. Because football has a cruel sense of humor, and this might be the cruelest punchline it has ever written. Monday, July 6th, Lumen Field, Seattle, USA versus Belgium, round of 16. Balogun starts, the most talked about footballer on planet Earth for 72 straight hours. A president called for him, a governing body bent for him, a continent raged over him. Final score, Belgium 4, USA 1. The United States are eliminated from their own World Cup. Everything, the phone call, the lawyers, the additional evidence, the Article 27 ruling, the UEFA statement, the diplomatic firestorm. All of it was for one match, and they lost it by 3 goals. The host nation is out. Balogun's tournament is over. The controversy is all that remains. So what does this actually mean for football? Strip away the names and ask the real question. If a head of state can call FIFA about a suspension, and days later that suspension is gone, what happens next time? What happens when it's a semi-final? A final? What happens when the country calling isn't hosting the tournament but paying for the next one? UEFA's warning wasn't really about Balogun. It was about precedent. Because rules only mean something if they apply to everyone, every time, no matter who picks up the phone. The moment that stops being true, football stops being a sport with rules and becomes a negotiation between powerful people. FIFA says that's not what happened here. Belgium, UEFA, Rooney, Neville, and half the football world say it's exactly what happened here. 64 years passed between Garrincha and Balogun. The question that should worry everyone who loves this game is simple. How long until the next one? Because the phone call has been made now. The precedent exists. And in football, as in politics, precedents never stay unused for long.